morning, I'm Deirdre Bolton. Thank you for streaming with us. President Biden issuing a new travel advisory telling Americans in Ukraine they should depart immediately. Warning, quote, things could go crazy quickly. More Russian warships arriving in the Black Sea, bolstering what is effectively a naval blockade of Ukraine. While Russia and Belarus continue military exercises just a few miles from Ukraine's northern border as diplomatic talks between Ukraine and Russia collapse. The FDA set to release data on Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine trials for children younger than 5 years old as early as today. Meanwhile, more states are dropping mask mandates as new cases decline. Indoor mask requirements in Delaware and Rhode Island set to expire today. Nevada dropped masks indoors and in schools yesterday. At least 10 states are now getting ahead of the CDC's recommendations, which insist most people should still be wearing masks, as nearly 99% of U.S. counties are still reporting high transmission. Police in Phoenix say the situation has been resolved after 5 police officers were shot and a woman was critically injured when a suspect barricaded themselves in a house. The injured woman and officers were taken to the hospital to be treated. Police say there was a baby in the house, but the baby is fine and not injured. Authorities say the area will be restricted by investigators, and they are still on the scene. Now to the fallout over that stunning inflation number, making everyday goods like gasoline or groceries more expensive. Prices are up 7.5% compared to 1 year ago, rising at the fastest rate in 4 decades. We bring in Gregory Dacko. He is the chief economist at Ernst & Young Parthenon for more. Greg, thank you so much in advance for the time. Where are you seeing Americans feeling these effects the most?
Well, I think what we're seeing in terms of inflation dynamics is that it's hurting a lot of consumers where it hurts the most. That is in terms of food prices, in terms of energy prices, and now increasingly in terms of housing costs, rental costs. So it's a broad-based increase in inflation that is weighing on consumers' ability and desire to spend in this higher inflation environment. As you said, we are experiencing the hottest inflation we've seen in 40 years. We do expect inflation to cool over the course of 2022, but that cooling will be fairly gradual.
Fairly gradual. So as you mentioned, I mean, food, gasoline, rent, it's everywhere across the board. So the Federal Reserve has signaled that it plans to raise interest rates. So does the data point that we get today change the pace? Does it change how the Fed is going to respond?
Well, I think it does. We have already started to see some policymakers hint towards faster increase in interest rates. We've seen some policymakers suggest that a 50 basis point rate liftoff from the zero lower bound where we currently are is adequate. I would be careful because what we're seeing right now is that financial conditions are tightening, and we are seeing this tightening in financial conditions with interest rates rising ahead of the Fed as something that could actually hurt the economy. If the Fed slams the brake too rapidly, we could be in for an environment where we have the worst of both worlds, essentially higher inflation and higher interest rates. So we have to be very careful, and the Fed has to be very careful to calibrate policy in a way that does not seem like it's slamming the brakes and does not lead to a more recessionary type of environment.
Greg, what signs are you going to be watching to be reassured, if I can use that word, that the Fed is straddling these two worlds, those two strategies appropriately?
Well, I think we will have to see the type of communication that we get from Fed Chair Powell and some of the Fed governors over the next few weeks. We have the all-important March meeting in about 4 weeks' time. That is when the Fed is expected to proceed with rate liftoff. Just a couple of weeks ago, expectations were that the Fed would essentially raise rates by only 25 basis points, so not that big of an increase. But there is increased speculation that the Fed may want to go faster than that, and that's what markets are pricing in right now. And that's where I see a potential risk, because if financial conditions tighten, you get a negative effect on stock markets. It can affect business decisions to hire, to invest. And it can also affect consumers' ability to spend and buy in an environment where you have less growth. So I would be very careful as to how financial conditions evolve over the next 4 weeks.
We do hope the Fed moves gingerly. Greg, Dago, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The White House is warning that Iran is just weeks away from acquiring enough fuel to make a nuclear weapon. The regime unveiling a new long-range missile on state TV while the U.S. is back at the table trying to revive the nuclear deal. Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz has the latest from Tehran.
On the streets of Tehran and in the sky, celebrations saluting the 43rd anniversary of the Islamic Revolution. But the message was the same: down with America. Iran's new, more hardline President Ibrahim Raisi marking the day with a defiant tone, denouncing the West. Just this week, Iran unveiling its newest long-range missile, claiming it can evade detection while easily striking Israel and U.S. bases in the region. But playing out behind closed doors, negotiations over Iran's ever-growing nuclear program. Now in a race against the clock, the White House warning the country is just weeks away from having enough fuel for a nuclear bomb, although analysts say it would take at least another year to produce the weapon itself, and then they'd have to test it. The Biden administration working for months to resurrect an Obama-era agreement scrapped by former President Trump, who hoped instituting crippling economic sanctions would push Iran to cut a better deal. Inflation rates soaring over 40%. The people of Iran are feeling the crunch. But its leadership so far showing no signs of yielding. The White House still thinks a deal is a possibility, but a senior administration official told me he thinks it's about a 50-50 chance. Deirdre?
Martha Raddatz in Iran, thank you very much. Well, the Rams and the Bengals facing off in Super Bowl 56 on Sunday. Security is tight as authorities aim to make sure that everything from pregame parties to the championship celebrations go ahead safely. ABC's Will Carr has the latest.
While the teams gear up for Super Bowl 56, authorities are executing their own game plans, ramping up security across the area. But on the heels of trucker protests in Canada, the Department of Homeland Security is warning there could be similar protests around SoFi Stadium, but say those protests are largely aspirational.
We don't want to speculate, but we have planned and we are prepared to address it.
It comes as they're sweeping Southern California for threats, using bomb-sniffing dogs on land, speedboats on water, and numerous aircraft, including this Black Hawk helicopter in the air. CBP's Air and Marine operations on high alert, giving us a behind-the-scenes look at the concerns.
One of the biggest safety concerns is just how close SoFi Stadium is to LAX. On a normal day, you have planes flying all around the stadium. During the Super Bowl, this will all be restricted airspace.
That means no unauthorized aircraft, including drones, for a 30-mile radius around the stadium.
Our message for Super Bowl Sunday is come out, enjoy the game, but leave your drone at home.
If you get caught flying a drone, you could face a fine up to $30,000, and there's going to be strict protocols inside the stadium as well. Every fan's going to have to show proof of vaccination, and they'll be required to wear masks. But we've seen through the course of the playoffs that can be really difficult to enforce. Deirdre.
Well, Carr, thank you very much. Now to the latest at the Olympic Games. Overnight, Shaun White did not win another medal at his final Olympics, but he did bow out with lots of love from his fellow competitors. And Michaela Schifrin still searching for her first medal in Beijing. Maggie Rulli has the latest.
The end of an era on the halfpipe. Shaun White, and what he says is his final Olympic run. A strong start out of the gate, hitting a massive 1440, his signature double McTwist 1260, and a daring frontside 1260. The five-time Olympian, leaving it all on the halfpipe. Sitting in fourth place with one final run ahead of him, a last chance to pull off a killer run to get that coveted gold medal. The 35-year-old and oldest male halfpiper to ever compete in the Olympics, crashing, missing out on making the podium, but finishing the run in style. Sliding down the halfpipe with his helmet and fist in the air, surrounded by cheers. Overcome with emotion, wiping away tears. The moment, a bittersweet ending to a career decades in the making. White grabbing his first of a record 3 Olympic golds at his very first game in Torino back in 2006 when he was just 19, with long, flowing locks, known at the time by his nickname, the Flying Tomato. And he's been inspiring generations of snowboarders to up their game ever since. And on the ski slopes, Michaela Schifrin back in action after not finishing her first two events, coming in 9th place in the Super G. While the two-time gold medalist didn't make it to the podium this time around, at the bottom of the slope, all smiles. Mentally, it appears she's back in the game. And Deirdre, it was incredible. You could really just feel the impact that Shaun White has had on the sport of snowboarding. Watching him slide down on his final run, every country, all of his competitors were cheering, by far the loudest cheers we've heard so far at these games. I mean, just look at this photo, Deirdre. Team USA posting a picture. It was quite emotional of Shaun White hugging his competitors after his run with the caption, passing on the torch to the next generation. Because Deirdre, what is so wild to think about is that when Shaun was born, the Olympics didn't even have snowboarding as an event. Now, thanks in part to him, snowboarding has become a premier event here at these games. Deirdre?
Maggie Rulli there for us. Thank you very much. Here, by the way, is the latest medal count. Norway, Austria leading the way, 14 overall medals. Norway 6 gold, Austria 4. The Russian Olympic Committee following in 3rd place with 12 overall medals, 2 golds. Coming up, we are taking a closer look at why cryptocurrency investing is becoming more popular in Black and brown communities. Welcome back. Cryptocurrency is mocked by some as a very risky investment. Others see it as the beginning of a transformational change. It is becoming more popular in Black and brown communities. Janae Norman takes a closer look.
The cryptocurrency craze has been booming in recent years, particularly for people of color.
I initially started looking into cryptocurrency when I was in high school. What made me interested in it was having the opportunity to kind of put myself in a position where I can kind of take control of my own financial lives.
Specifically, Black and Latino Americans using the investment tool to build wealth outside of the financial institutions that they've historically been excluded from.
Unrepresented group of people are kind of more, heavily invested into the crypto because we understand the possibilities. And when you're coming from more humble beginnings, you want to utilize all the opportunities you can give and to help better yourself.
College students Shamani Smith and Caroline Altagracia credit their involvement in the crypto sphere to their former high school teacher, Carlos Acevedo, who held crypto boot camps through his organization, the Crypto Community Project, teaching first himself the fundamentals of crypto through the internet, podcasts, and YouTube, and soon after teaching his students.
During my lunch break, they saw me watching the YouTube videos. They saw me listening to podcasts, reading, and they wanted to make money on Bitcoin. That really was the running joke. Mister, when you give me some Bitcoin, it really, solidified my own understanding as I taught it.
Clev Mesador, founder of the National Policy Network of Women of Color and Blockchain and former President Obama appointee, emphasizes how Black and Latino innovators are leading mainstream adoption of the crypto space.
Our communities have been locked out of the financial system. We have not been able to participate when you look at what's happened in the banking sector and even Wall Street. So therefore, decentralization is an opportunity for us to not have any barriers to entry and also participate and be producers as well.
This new area of the financial landscape serves as an open invitation for minority investors.
We're seeing so many more Black and brown people of color getting into cryptocurrency. Why do you think that is compared to trading stocks, for example?
Younger people, minorities, people who may have not been, quote unquote, educated on the traditional finance system, they might see this, especially the kind of, quote unquote, anti-establishment bent in the crypto sphere, as more attractive to become engaged with it.
People like Sheikah Reed. She's using her knowledge of cryptocurrency to create NFTs for Black artists. It can sound like a foreign language to those not yet immersed in crypto culture, but Sheikah explains that non-fungible tokens are digital works with intrinsic value, which runs on the Ethereum blockchain. NFT pieces can be purchased and sold using different forms of crypto.
For specifically Black artists, there's this opportunity where people who've never made money from their art before are making, 6-7 figures. A few of the artists who I've worked with have, always been outside of your typical kind of respectability art space. They are coming up with creative ideas and creative ways to implement them.
Platforms like OpenSea, the largest NFT marketplace, allows these kinds of alternative options for diverse artists to profit from their work. Shika believes accessibility is key. No bank account or college degree required, just hustle.
It's up to us to figure out what are some ways for us to build wealth intergenerationally so that we can, have the opportunity to prosper economically.
The skyrocketing participation of Black and brown folks within the crypto space shows their willingness to trust the decentralization of crypto. Clev's role in the Obama administration and involvement in crypto gave her the green light to focus on ensuring inclusivity in policies regulating cryptocurrency.
Black and Latinx innovators, entrepreneurs, small businesses have to be at the table. We need to be at those hearings. We need to have those conversations. Too often, we're not just locked out of the traditional financial system, we're locked out of the policy making. So therefore, we end up with the same laws perpetrating the same inequities.
For Carlos, financial empowerment for Latinos is one of the main reasons he continues teaching cryptocurrency in addition to his role as Senior Director of Sales at Brave. Can you touch on the importance of Latino engagement in the crypto sphere?
What you have here is the ability for Latinos in the United States to, create crypto enclaves and knowledge that will then, I hope, transfer back to their home countries.
But the road to financial empowerment still has its downsides. The crypto market collapsed at the end of January, wiping out more than $1 trillion. For the average or long-term investor, is this a risk one's willing to take? Carlos says this is part of the game, and he suggests for the average investor to never risk money that you're not willing to lose. And for him, most of his gains came from crashes. Caroline and Shamani say they're unfazed by the crashes because it's all about opportunity.
What crypto has really taught me is that, I have more power than I realize. I'm kind of in control of my, financial destiny.
Crypto has been the opportunity for us to finally take control of our financial lives, for us to apply the knowledge that we have and find ways for it to benefit not just us in our future, but our families as well.
Our thanks to Janae for that report. Coming up, we're going to talk to 2 high school students who are listening to their teachers and also spending free time listening to each other. More on the Be Heard Club right after the break. Welcome back. It is time for Feel Good Friday, where we bring you a little good news heading into the weekend. Today, it is all about the importance of being heard. Students at Tara High School in Baton Rouge are spending their free periods doing something different. So not listening to music or making TikToks, but they are listening to each other. Senior class president James Robinson started the Be Heard Club for students in every grade to meet and talk about issues they're going through. James is with us now, along with senior and club member Destiny Norris. Thank you both for being here. Welcome, welcome. So, James, this is an amazing idea. I can't believe you got other teenagers to put down their phones, but where did the idea come from?
First, good morning, and I thank you for having us. The idea came from a lack of communication. I understood that everyone was going through problems. Everyone was going through something at school, and they were trying to make it. They were trying to get through the struggle. Some people say senioritis, junioritis. And I felt that if we can't talk to teachers about it, or if we feel more comfortable talking to a peer, that we should have a group that stands for something. We should have a group of peers, all of the friends, even the ones that we don't know, get together. We can have meetings and express ourselves, share our ideas and our goals, and talk about things that go on in our life so that we can get assistance from others.
Destiny, what's been the nicest part about this experience for you?
hanging together, changing the school community.
We know you're in a school. There's the proof.
Changing the school community is also nice to, see yourself participating in events and activities, instead of just sitting in the bleachers and being one of the people, listening to the people in the middle of the floor that's hosting the event, but one of the people that's out there, communicating with the crowd, communicating with the students, asking them what they want, activities they want to see happen at their school.
And I'm assuming it's been really all the more important to connect after living through this pandemic. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm sure. So, James, you're a senior, you're class president. What is your hope for the Be Heard Club after you graduate, which is an amazing legacy?
Yes, of course. My hope for the club is just for it to live on. I want people to be like us, to feel like they need to change the community, that they feel like they need to be active in school, create any club of their choosing, be a part, be members of everything that's going on, and be actively changing their surroundings. I want it to live on, transfer to more schools, get more people involved. I want the middleman or the man that's in the back that's sitting quietly or don't have anything to do in school to get active, make some programs or have a fair or have a field day, do some things like that. Yeah.
Just connect more with the other people around that person, which is so important because, as people say, the more we're in theory connected by devices, the less we feel sort of that human connection. So Destiny, as far as what you share or what you hear your peers sharing, is a lot more hardship and this is a place to really get support? Or is it more, oh, did you see this show? Did you see this movie? What have the conversation threads been like?
Well, we offer support. We offer support and
Hardo, please report to the front office.
Sorry.
That's okay. They're in school. This is normal. You're saying you offer support maybe to people who are struggling with issues at home or in school?
Yeah, we offer support. Like we go around, asking people, anybody having any at-home problems, anything they need help with at school, anything like that. We don't wait till, see someone in trouble. We ask ahead of time and, try to get in front of the problem.
Because we do focus on the social and emotional aspects of everybody's lives. We want to make people feel comfortable to come express yourself before anything gets out of hand or before you feel like you've been pushed to the side or zoned out. We want everyone to feel welcome. We want everyone to have a safe space that they can go to, because we go through the same things. And especially as a freshman and a sophomore, just coming into high school or even a transfer, you need someone to be there for you. You need someone to say, hey, what do I want to do after high school? I went through this. I had trouble with this, so I can help you. I can teach you. I can help you talk to your teacher if you're going through something. So even at home, we try to be very personal because at the end of the day, we are friends. And even if you just come into the school, you're welcomed in as a friend and family even, because we share all of these things.
And it's not even with negative problems. Like us as seniors and last year during the COVID-19 year, as juniors, we had trouble figuring out what we wanted to do after high school, what career path we wanted to, go down. And we know a lot of students here, really have trouble with figuring out what they want to do after high school, following the right path, what career they want to follow.
Well, your club members are lucky. It's amazing. You guys created something really good. James Robinson, Destiny Norris, thank you both for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you
so much.
You can find more feel-good stories at goodmorningamerica.com. I'm Deirdre Bolton. Stay with us as ABC News Live continues to bring you all the day's events and breaking news. Your top headlines are right after this break.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.